So Wolves 2, Everton 2, I thought a really, really positive performance today. Lots of good things to take from it. Possession-wise, I thought we dominated Everton. Little bit of lapses of concentration which led to them getting 2 goals. But I thought we played really, really well. Patient as well in the build-up to our second goal. I thought Jimenez was tremendous. I thought he took his goal really well. Good header down. Neves, of course, quality, class. But I was really impressed by the players that came on from the bench. Vinagre, Morgan Gibbs-White. Vinagre in particular, having not seen him through pre-season, I thought he did really well and offered us a little bit more going forward than Johnny did. Not that Johnny played badly, but I was really impressed with what Vinagre was able to add to our team.
Hey guys, Dazzling Dave YouTube here. Just a quick review for Talking Wolves. Coming back from the game, absolutely chuffed really. Okay, we didn't win the game, but it was a 2-2 draw. Everton, a very established Premier League team. They came at us very quick with a high press. I was quite impressed generally with Wolves throughout. I thought we got stronger as the game went on. Obviously, they scored. We were a bit susceptible, I think, from set pieces today, and at times the defence were a little bit nervy. I thought Bolly probably was not his usual fully composed self, and there were mistakes. But overall, I thought the team did really, really well. We showed a lot of quality and a lot of character. The conditions were obviously difficult. Everton did go down to 10 men. I thought Neves absolutely, for me, was the man of the match. For the ball, for the second goal, and for the free kick. Jota did well. Costa, I thought, was a little lightweight. But all in all, the whole of the team, I was really, really pleased. I think it bodes well. We've got players that we know that are going to come into the squad. I thought that it was made for a Cav or a Traore to come on towards the end of the second half, but obviously they're both injured. And, at the end of the day, I think both fans would be happy with a point. All in all, positive, a point on the board. We will move on to the next one, and I'm no doubt that we will learn a lot from today's performance. But yeah, good job.
Yes, guys, it's Dave for Talking Wolves. Just giving my thoughts quickly on the Wolves versus Everton game. Obviously, I had a little bit of time to reflect on it. I'm still sort of unsure whether it's 1 point gained for Wolves or 2 points dropped. I feel obviously Everton are probably one of the best sides outside the top 6. So it's always going to be a tough game, and I think they came here and they defended really, really well at Molineux. Obviously, the red card changed the game. Whether, that would have led Everton to attack more and maybe Wolves would have been able to open them up a little bit, or you can never tell, but I think it was vital that Ruben Neves got the goal straight after the red card. That way, Everton couldn't just sit back and make it even more difficult for us. But we did well. First game back in the Premier League for a long time. A lot of these players have never played Premier League football before. To come from behind twice, it shows, great resilience from Wolves. And overall, a point. I think plenty of people would have taken a point before the game. So, overall... reflecting on it, is probably 1 point gained, but with Everton having the 10 men, it's a little bit annoying. But nonetheless, it's a very solid start from Wolves. Next week, adding the new signings, adding a Cavallero who obviously was injured, and I think we'll have a really decent side.
So just got back from the Molineux, and overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with the result. Although leaving the ground, you could kind of sense a disappointment from a lot of people because we probably should have won the game, although they did have quite a lot of chances. But you can just see the disappointment is actually a kind of good thing because it shows how far we've come in the last 2 or 3 years, that we're disappointed with the 2-2 draw against Everton in the Premier League. Like, I'm absolutely buzzing. I thought we started both halves quite slowly. First 10-15 minutes, we didn't quite cope with their high press, especially in the first half when they had 11. Talking about having 11, the turning point was obviously the red card and the goal. I'm still kind of 50-50 over whether it was a red card. It was a bit reckless and it was last man. But to be fair, from an angle right on the ankle, I can see why he's given it, but I'd be a bit peeved if I was an Everton fan, to be honest. Talking individually, I think most of the team played really well today. Neves obviously absolutely outstanding. His kind of quarterbacking the ball out to the wings, finding that space in between the fullback and the centre-back. Just what we're seeing week in, week out. And now he's going to show it every single week in the Premier League, which is great for him and great for the club. Also, I thought Raul Jimenez looked really sharp, a lot quicker than I thought, really pacey, and dropping into those spaces in between the midfield and the front three, which is very necessary, having two deep-lying playmakers. And also, I thought Ryan Bennett at the back was excellent. I know Dendoncker might be coming in to fill that, or Sace, but I thought Bennett was very good, especially when comparing him to Bolly, who looked a bit rushed compared to the amount of time that he had in the Championship. But overall, very happy with the 2-2 draw. Would have taken that before the game. But we think we can probably do a bit better going forward. Positive start, things to build on, but overall still feeling pretty confident for the season.
What's up guys, it's FINERRZ here, coming at you with my 1 minute opinion for Talking Wolves. Just on the way home now, and I said before I'd take a draw, and that's what we got. Obviously the circumstances are very different. You don't assume that Jagielka is going to be sent off in the first half. You don't assume Neves is going to put one top bin's first game of the season. Absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, I'll take it. There were some problems with the performance, as Nuno said in his stuff after the game. Defensively, weren't looking as strong as we were last year. I've got Patricio in my fantasy team, I've got Bolly in my fantasy team, just based off the fact that I thought we'd be very good defensively. And today, that hasn't really convinced me. I think one of them two is coming out very, very soon. Bolly had a bit of a shocker. Patricio doesn't look very demanding on set pieces, but I'm sure they'll work on that a lot this week, as Nuno's highlighted it. Midfield looked pretty good, to be fair. Maybe a big enforcer would have been good to get in. Whether Dendoncker can do that, we're not sure, but I'd have him at right centre back for the next game, as Ryan Bennett didn't play his best ever game, but neither did Bolly, to be fair, so either one could come out. Lacked a bit of width as well, I thought, with Johnny having to cut in on his right. We weren't as wide as we usually are, and obviously Doherty and Johnny couldn't get forward as much because there's more of a defensive duty in the Premier League, which is only natural. Jimenez again looked amazing. He's going to be my favourite player this year, I think. Costa didn't quite do it today, whether that was just the nerves. I think that's a big thing today. We did well considering the nerves, considering the big occasion, so we'll take it. Jota did well to recover from getting two-footed to the ankle, to be fair. I thought this year there'd be less of that on Jota, but no, it's carried on in the same form. And yeah, so good performance overall, and roll on Leicester.
Yo guys, so yeah, what a game that was for Wolves. As you can tell, my voice isn't fully there. It was a great atmosphere from start to finish. Regards to the game, I think it was a great point gained. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, yes, we should have won. But you got to remember, it is our first game back in the top flight against a decent Everton side. I know they only had 10 men for a lot of the game, but it just showed there's a little difference in Premiership class between some of those killer balls that they were doing, especially from the new guy Richarlison. And yeah, so it was a great test for us. I think it was a great first game. We needed it as well. I think it's given Nuno something to think about as well. Some of the options at the back. I'm not sure about Bennett. He played better the second half, but the first half I did think he looked a bit shaky. But other than that, he had a decent game. But yeah, we did have a few defensive issues. I think we were leaving just too much space. We weren't closing them down quick enough. We were letting them run at us, which is something you can't really do in the Premier League because you will get punished for it. And it's not the Championship anymore. But overall, a great game. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get back out again for the next one at home. My man of the match today has got to be Neves. 1 assist and 1 wonder goal again with the free kick. The guy is just top class. And I was thinking on the way back, he's got to be getting into that top 10 players that we've ever had. I rate him so much that I would say he's in the top 10 players that Wolves have ever had, and he's only been here for 2 seasons. I really do think this guy oozes class. He's going to go on to be one of the greatest players in the game. And yeah, again, after today's showings, you can see why. He did have a few stray passes, but again, his first game of the season, it was slippy, the pitch was, as you can see. It was absolutely tipping it down for a lot of the game. I think Moutinho and him did do well in that midfield. Maybe they need to control it a little bit more and sort of play those passes off a little bit quicker, because we were holding on to the ball for quite a while sometimes. But overall, great game. Really, really happy with that performance. So yeah,